make the viral TikTok lasagna soup, so let's get started with the video. We're going to begin by making the cheese mixture. In a bowl, add 8 ounces of ricotta cheese, 2 to 3 tablespoons of Boursin garlic and herb cheese, half a cup of shredded mozzarella cheese, a quarter cup of Parmesan cheese, 1 tablespoon of parsley, a quarter teaspoon of salt, and a quarter teaspoon of pepper. Then mix everything together until well combined. When you're finished, place the cheese mixture in the fridge until you're ready to use it. Next, in a large pan over medium heat, add 1 to 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Then add 1 pound of ground turkey or beef and a half a pound of ground Italian sausage. Then break up the ground meat. When you're finished, season the ground meat. I season mine with seasoned salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, and Creole seasoning. Next, cook the ground meat until it has browned and completely cooked through. After you finish cooking the meat, add 1 diced onion and 1 tablespoon of minced garlic. Then cook the onions and garlic for about 2 minutes. Next, add a half a teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of pepper, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning, 1 teaspoon of oregano, half a teaspoon of red pepper flakes, and 3 tablespoons of tomato paste. Mix everything together and cook the tomato paste for 5 minutes. Next, add 24 ounces of marinara sauce. Mix the marinara sauce with everything until well combined. Then add 6 cups of chicken broth. Mix everything together until well combined and then add 8 broken up lasagna noodles. Bring the soup to a boil and then reduce the heat to medium-low and cover the pot with a lid. Then cook the noodles for about 15 to 20 minutes or until tender. Make sure to occasionally stir the soup while the noodles are cooking. Once the noodles have finished cooking, reduce the heat to low and add a half a cup of heavy cream. Then mix the heavy cream in until well combined. Next, mix in 1 tablespoon of freshly chopped parsley and 1 tablespoon of freshly chopped basil. And that's it, you're all finished making the lasagna soup. Now all that's left to do is plate it up. Add some of the soup in a bowl and then add a scoop of the ricotta cheese mixture on top. After adding a scoop of the ricotta cheese mixture, sprinkle some parsley and red pepper flakes on top as well. And that's it, you're all done, and this is the finished result. This lasagna soup is absolutely delicious. It's super flavorful and well seasoned, and the ricotta cheese mixture on top complements the soup perfectly. The soup is also really filling and perfect for warming you up on a cold day. I definitely recommend giving this a try. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Everything I used in this video will be down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye! Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make these delicious fall off the bone smothered turkey wings. So let's get started with the video. First, cut 1 onion, 1 red bell pepper, and 1 green bell pepper into thin slices. When you're finished, set these ingredients to the side. Next, prepare 4 pounds of turkey wings. To do this, I'm going to show you how to cut turkey wings. Lay the turkey wing flat, skin side down. Then stretch it out so you can clearly see where the joints bend. Find the joint, not the bone, then cut between the drum and the flat. Next, cut through the skin connecting the drum and the flat. This exposes the joint more and makes the next cut way easier. Continue to cut straight down through the joint. You should feel little resistance if you're in the right spot. Next, separate the flat from the tip. Bend the wing again to find the joint and cut straight through. And that's it! Now you know how to cut a turkey wing. Repeat this process with the rest of your turkey wings. Now that the turkey wings are cut and prepared, we can go ahead and clean them. Place the turkey wings in a large bowl in your sink. Then clean the turkey wings with cold water, white vinegar, and limes. Use the slices of lime to scrub off any blood or residue on the turkey wings. Continue to clean the turkey wings until the water is almost completely clear. Then let the turkey wings soak in water, lime juice, and vinegar for about 10 to 15 minutes. Once you're finished cleaning the turkey wings, pat them dry with paper towels and place them in a large baking dish. Next, we're going to make the seasoning mixture for the turkey wings. In a small bowl, mix together 2 teaspoons of seasoned salt, 2 teaspoons of onion powder, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, 2 teaspoons of paprika, 2 teaspoons of Kinder Sweet Heat seasoning, 1 teaspoon of Cajun seasoning, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, and 1 teaspoon of dried thyme. Once you're finished making your seasoning mixture, set it to the side. Next, prepare a syringe of Zatarain's Cajun injector. Pour the Cajun butter in a separate bowl to avoid cross-contamination, then fill the syringe provided with the Cajun injector with the Cajun butter. Now set the butter and syringe to the side until you're ready to inject your turkey wings. Next, pour 2 tablespoons of olive oil over the turkey wings. Then season generously with the seasoning mixture we made before. Flip the turkey wings over and season again. Make sure each turkey wing is evenly coated in the seasonings. Next, inject each wing with Zatarain's Cajun injector. When you're finished, cover the baking dish and place the turkey wings in the fridge to marinate for 2 hours or overnight. Next, we're going to make the gravy base. In a measuring cup, mix together a 1/4 cup of flour, 1 teaspoon of the seasoning mixture, 1½ tablespoons of minced garlic, 2 cups of chicken broth, 2 to 3 tablespoons of Zatarain's Cajun injector, and 1 teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. When you're finished, set the gravy base to the side. Next, take the turkey wings out of the fridge. Then add the sliced bell peppers and onions in the baking dish. Make sure to move the turkey wings so they're over the onions and bell peppers. Now season the turkey wings one more time. Next, pour the gravy slurry into the bottom of the baking dish, being careful not to pour it directly over the wings. Finally, place a piece of unsalted butter on top of each turkey wing. It should look like this when you're finished. Now tightly cover the baking dish in tin foil. Then place the turkey wings in the oven at 375 degrees for 2 hours. Make sure to baste the turkey wings every 20 to 30 minutes. After 2 hours, uncover the turkey wings and place them back into the oven for 1 hour or until tender and golden brown. Remember to continue basting your turkey wings every 20 to 30 minutes. Once the turkey wings have finished baking in the oven, let them rest for 10 minutes. The gravy will continue to thicken as it sets. And that's it, you are all finished making your smothered turkey wings. These turkey wings were falling off the bone, they were so tender. Now all that's left to do is plate it up. I decided to eat my turkey wings with mashed potatoes, but you can also eat them with white rice. And this is the finished result. These turkey wings were so incredibly good. Super well seasoned, very flavorful, and incredibly tender. The gravy tasted amazing and complemented the turkey wings perfectly. I totally recommend giving this recipe a try. It is absolutely delicious. You definitely won't regret making this. Just look at how easily the meat falls off the bone. Amazing! Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Everything I used in this video will be down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye! Hey everyone, today I'll be teaching you how to make this delicious pot roast in an Instant Pot. It's well seasoned, super flavorful, and extremely tender. I'm super excited to show you guys how to make this, so let's get started with the video. We're going to begin by prepping our ingredients. Dice 1 onion, three pieces of celery, and chop 2 carrots. Then clean and cut in half about 10 to 13 baby potatoes. Now that you've prepped all your ingredients, set them to the side. Now in a small bowl, add 1 1/2 teaspoon of seasoned salt, 1/4 teaspoon of smoked paprika, 1 teaspoon of pepper, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of oregano, 1/8 teaspoon of white pepper, and 1/2 teaspoon of light brown sugar. Mix all your ingredients together until well combined. You're also supposed to add 3 tablespoons of flour, but I forgot to add it while filming this part. Once you've finished mixing your seasonings, set it to the side. Next, place a 2 to 3 pound chuck roast on a cutting board. Then coat the chuck roast with your seasonings. At this part I remembered the flour, so I was just adding 3 tablespoons of flour into my seasoning mix. And then I coated the chuck roast in that. When you have finished coating your chuck roast, set it to the side. In your Instant Pot, add around 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Then press Sauté on your Instant Pot and place it on more by clicking Sauté again. Once your Instant Pot is hot, add your chuck roast. Then cook it for 1 minute on each side. We just want to cook it long enough so that it browns. Once the chuck roast is finished cooking, take it out of the pan. Then add 1 tablespoon of butter into the pan. We're using the butter to deglaze the bottom of the pot. Spread the butter around and scrape the bottom of the pot to remove any leftover seasonings that got stuck to the bottom of the pot while we were cooking our chuck roast. Once nothing is sticking to the bottom of the pot, add your onions. Then add your celery. Saute your celery and onions for about 3 to 4 minutes. Then add 1 tablespoon of minced garlic and saute everything for another minute. When you finish sauteing your onions, celery, and garlic, reduce your heat to low. You can do this by pressing the saute button until it's on low. Now add 2 cups of beef broth, 1/4 cup of Worcestershire sauce, 1 cup of red wine, 1 sprig of rosemary, and 1 sprig of thyme. Then mix all your ingredients together until well combined. Now add your chuck roast. Set your Instant Pot to pressure cook, then press the plus sign until you get to 40 minutes. After the 40 minutes, unseal the vent until all the steam is gone. Then remove the lid and add in your potatoes and carrots. Once you've added your potatoes and carrots, close the lid and then press cancel on your pressure cooker. After that, press pressure cook and press the minus sign until you reach 20 minutes. After the 20 minutes are up, your pot roast should be finished cooking. The carrots and potatoes should be cooked all the way. Remove your pot roast from the pot and set it to the side. Taste your gravy and see if it needs any additional seasonings. Mine needed salt, so I added 1/2 teaspoon. Now in a small bowl, add 3 tablespoons of cornstarch, and 3 tablespoons of water. Mix the cornstarch and water together until well combined. Then pour it into your gravy. The cornstarch slurry should make your gravy thicker. Now that everything is finished cooking, you can plate everything up. And this is the finished result. The pot roast was delicious. The meat fell off so easily. You could pick the meat off with a fork. The pot roast and the gravy were both well seasoned and tasted delicious. The carrots and potatoes were cooked to perfection. They also went really well with the pot roast. This is a really good winter dish and it'll totally warm you up. I'm really happy with how the pot roast came out. I hope you guys enjoyed. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Everything I used in this video will be down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye! This is pot roast over some mashed potatoes, and man, it looked good and it tasted good. So I totally recommend eating it with some mashed potatoes. Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make this easy and delicious chicken pot pie, so let's get started with the video. Begin by dicing 1 onion, two carrots, and 2 celery stalks. When you're finished, set your chicken to the side. Next, in a pot over medium heat, add 4 tablespoons of butter. Once the butter is melted, add 1 cup of diced onions, 1 cup of diced carrots, a half a cup of diced celery, and 1 tablespoon of minced garlic. Saute your veggies for 5 minutes. Then add 1 teaspoon of fresh thyme and 1 teaspoon of fresh rosemary. Next, gradually stir in 1/3 cup of all-purpose flour. Once you've added the flour, continue to cook for 2 minutes while constantly stirring. Next, slowly pour in 1 3/4 cup of warm chicken broth. After you've added your chicken broth, add a 1/2 cup of warm, heavy cream. Next, mix in 1 teaspoon of salt, a 1/2 teaspoon of pepper, 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, and 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder. Then mix everything together until well combined. Reduce the heat to low and bring your mixture to a simmer until it becomes thick. Once your mixture is thick, add 1 cup of frozen peas and 2 cups of your shredded rotisserie chicken. Mix everything together until well combined and then set your chicken pot pie filling to the side. Sprinkle flour on a clean surface and roll out 2 sheets of pastry puff. Roll out the pastry puff to around 11 to 12 inches. This should be big enough for one to fit inside the pan and one to cover the pan. When you're finished, set your pastry puff to the side. Next, grease the inside of a 9-inch iron skillet or pan with butter. When you're finished, line the pan with 1 sheet of pastry puff. Next, cut off any excess dough. Now add your chicken pot pie filling. Next, place another sheet of pastry puff on top. Then cut off the excess dough. Next, tuck and press the 2 pieces of dough together. When you're finished, crimp the edges either using your fingers or a fork. Next, make an egg wash by whisking together 1 egg and 1 tablespoon of water. When you're done, brush the pastry puff with the egg wash. Then cut a few slits at the top to vent the steam. Next, bake your chicken pot pie at 400 degrees for 35 to 40 minutes. Then cover it with tinfoil and continue baking it for another 15 minutes. The reason we're covering the pot pie with tinfoil is to prevent over browning. When your pot pie has finished baking in the oven, let it rest for about 10 to 15 minutes, then sprinkle some fresh thyme on top and you are all finished. And this is the finished result! This chicken pot pie was absolutely delicious. The crust was crispy and flaky and the inside was flavorful and tasty. It's finally starting to get chilly outside and this is the perfect comfort food. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Everything I used in this video will be down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye! Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make delicious oxtail and grits, so let's get started with the video. We're going to begin by preparing our ingredients. First, dice 1 onion. Then dice 1 red bell pepper. And 1 green bell pepper. Next, chop up some green onions. Then mince 3 garlic cloves. And finally, dice or chop 1 Scotch bonnet pepper. Once you finish preparing your ingredients, set them to the side. Now we're going to clean 4 pounds of oxtails. I got my oxtails from Costco. Place the oxtails in a large bowl in the sink. Then thoroughly rinse them with cold water until the water is almost completely clear. Once the water is almost clear, fill the bowl with cold water, then add white vinegar and the juice from 2 limes. Next, use the limes to scrub the oxtails. Rinse the oxtails a few more times and then let the oxtails soak in the limes and vinegar for at least 10 to 15 minutes. Once you finish cleaning the oxtails, pat them dry and place them in another bowl. Now we're going to season the oxtails. First, add 1 tablespoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of pepper, 1 tablespoon of allspice, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of ground ginger, 1 cup of diced bell peppers, a 1/2 cup of diced onions, a 1/2 cup of green onions, 1 tablespoon of minced garlic, 1 diced or chopped Scotch bonnet pepper, 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, 2 tablespoons of browning, and around 7 to 8 sprigs of thyme. Mix everything together until the oxtails are completely coated. When you're finished, cover the bowl in plastic wrap and then place the oxtails in the fridge to marinate overnight. After marinating the oxtails overnight, we can go ahead and sear them. In a large pot over medium heat, add 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil or olive oil Then add 2 tablespoons of light brown sugar. Mix the sugar and oil together until the sugar caramelizes into a light brown color. Remove the oxtails from the marinade and place them in the pot, then sear them on each side. Make sure you sear the oxtails in batches so you don't overcrowd the pot. Once you finish searing the oxtails, remove them from the pot and set them to the side. Then repeat this process with your remaining oxtails. Once you have finished searing your oxtails, use the remaining marinade to deglaze the bottom of the pot. Next, place the seared oxtails back into the pot. Then add enough beef broth or water to cover the oxtails. Next, bring the mixture to a boil and then reduce it to a simmer. Then cover the pot with the lid and let the oxtails cook for 2 to 3 hours. After an hour or an hour and a half, make sure to check on your oxtails. Stir them around in the pot, and then if a lot of liquid has reduced, add enough hot beef broth or water to cover the oxtails. You'll know the oxtails are finished cooking once the meat easily falls off the bone. Now that your oxtails have finished cooking, skim the oil from the top. Then remove the oxtails from the pot. Once you remove the oxtails from the pot, mix in 2 to 3 tablespoons of ketchup. Next, bring the gravy to a boil, then reduce it to a simmer and continue to cook it until it becomes thick. Once you finish making your gravy, take it off the heat and set it to the side. Next, remove the meat from the oxtails and shred it. When you're finished, set the shredded oxtail meat to the side. Now we're going to make the grits. In a large saucepan, bring 1 cup of chicken broth to a boil over medium heat. Next, add a half a cup of instant grits. Cook the grits while stirring occasionally until the liquid has been completely absorbed. This should take around 5 minutes. Next, mix in 1 cup of heavy cream. Next, mix in 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter, half a cup of shredded cheddar cheese, a 1/4 teaspoon of Cajun seasoning, and a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. Once you finish making the grits, pour them in a bowl. Next, add the shredded oxtail meat on top of the grits. Then pour some gravy on top as well. Next, garnish the oxtail and grits with green onions and parsley. And that's it, you are all finished. And this is the finished result. These oxtail and grits were so good. The oxtails were tender and delicious, and then the gravy with the grits and everything combined was just wonderful. I highly recommend trying this because it's just so delicious. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Everything I used in this video will be down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye! Hey everyone, today I'll be teaching you how to make shepherd's pie. I can't wait to share the recipe, so let's get started with the video. We're going to begin by prepping our ingredients. Dice 1 onion, two carrots, and peel and chop 3 to 4 gold potatoes. When you're finished, set your prepped ingredients to the side. In a large pot of cold water, add your chopped potatoes. Place a lid over your pot and then bring the water to a boil. Boil your potatoes for about 20 to 30 minutes or until you can stab it easily with a fork. Drain the water from the pot and place it back on the stove. Then cook your potatoes over medium-low heat for about 1 to 2 minutes. Next, add a half a cup of milk and begin to mash your potatoes. Once you have mashed your potatoes until they are smooth, add a half a cup of unsalted butter. After you've added your butter, add 2 ounces of cream cheese, a half a cup of sour cream, a half a teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of white pepper, 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, and another half a cup of milk. This part's optional. I only added more milk because I felt like my mashed potatoes were a bit too thick. Then add 1/4 cup of white cheddar cheese and 1/4 cup of mild cheddar cheese. Mix all your ingredients in until well combined. When you're finished, set your mashed potatoes to the side. Next, in a large pan over medium heat, add olive oil. Then add the ground meat of your choice. I added turkey meat. I'm pretty sure traditional shepherd's pie uses ground lamb. Next, season your meat. I seasoned mine with seasoned salt, onion powder, garlic powder, and pepper. Cook your meat until it has browned completely. Once your meat is cooked, add your diced onions, or 1 cup of diced onions. Sauté your onions for about 2 to 3 minutes. Then add your diced carrots. We're going to sauté the carrots for 2 to 3 minutes as well. After you sautéed your veggies, add 1 tablespoon of minced garlic and 1 tablespoon of tomato paste. Cook those together for 1 minute. Next, add 1 teaspoon of rosemary, 1 teaspoon of thyme, and 2 tablespoons of flour. Mix everything together until well combined. Now add 1½ cups of beef broth. Let that cook for about 1 to 2 minutes and then add a half a cup of red wine, 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce, a half a teaspoon of seasoned salt, and a half a teaspoon of pepper. Once everything has been mixed in and well combined, add a cup of frozen peas. Stir the peas in until they are thawed and cooked. Once your peas are cooked, you can go ahead and begin assembling your shepherd's pie. In a baking dish, add your meat and veggies. Once you've added your meat and veggies and evened out the top, add your mashed potatoes. I added my mashed potatoes into a Ziploc bag and then cut out a hole so it would be easier to add the mashed potatoes onto the meat. Once you've added your mashed potatoes, smooth the top with a spatula. This part's optional, but I decided to pipe a design with the mashed potatoes on my shepherd's pie. I forgot to do this, but if you want, you can rough up the top of your shepherd's pie to make a crispy top. Then add some sharp white cheddar cheese on top. Now, place your shepherd's pie in the oven at 350 degrees for about 25 minutes. If the top of your shepherd's pie isn't browning after you've cooked it, then you can always broil it for about 3 to 5 minutes. And this is the finished result. It came out looking really good, and it smelled great. I really liked the little design I piped onto the shepherd's pie. It just made it look a bit fancier. And it tasted great. The meat was very flavorful and the mashed potatoes were so smooth and delicious. I had to keep myself from eating all the mashed potatoes while I was cooking. It was just so creamy and good. Overall, this was great. I totally recommend giving it a try. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Everything I used in this video will be down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye! Hey everyone, today I'll be teaching you how to make this delicious seafood gumbo. This was my first time making it, so I really hope you guys enjoy the video. So, let's get started. We're going to begin by prepping our ingredients. Dice 1 onion, two pieces of celery, and green onions. Then slice some andouille sausage, and peel and devein some shrimp. Make sure to keep your shrimp shells, we're going to use those for later. When you're finished prepping all your ingredients for your gumbo, set them to the side. Now we're going to prep our ingredients for our seafood stock. Cut up 1 onion, one tomato, one green bell pepper, and 3 pieces of celery. Now in a large pot over medium heat, add 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Then add all of your vegetables. Saute your vegetables for about 4 to 5 minutes. After that, add your shrimp shells from before. Let that cook for about 1 to 2 minutes, or until your shrimp shells have turned pink. Once everything has cooked, add 1 to 2 tablespoons of minced garlic, or 3 to 4 garlic cloves. Then add 4 quarts of water. A half a cup of white wine, 1 tablespoon of tomato paste, 1 teaspoon of pepper, 1 teaspoon of complete seasoning, 1 teaspoon of dried thyme, some fresh parsley, and any leftover seafood shells you might have. I added lobster shells and king crab shells to mine. Oh, and 2 bay leaves. Now let that simmer over low heat for 2 to 3 hours. This is totally optional, you don't have to make your own seafood stock. If you want, you can just use chicken broth. Once your stock has finished cooking, go ahead and strain it. Then set your stock to the side. In a large pot over medium heat, cook your andouille sausages. When your sausages have finished cooking, take them out of the pan. Then, while the pot is still hot, add 3/4 cup of vegetable oil. Then heat your oil up over medium heat. Before adding your flour, make sure your oil is hot enough. You can test this by sprinkling some flour into your oil, and if it sizzles, it's ready. Then gradually add 1 cup of flour while whisking. Right now we're making our roux. I made mine thicker since I won't be adding any okra. Okra is usually used as a thickening agent, but if you do want to add okra to your gumbo, you're going to want to add 1 cup of flour and 1 cup of vegetable oil to your roux so it's thinner. Continue to cook your roux for about 20 to 30 minutes, or until your roux is the color of chocolate. It also depends on how dark you want your roux to be. I cooked mine for 20 minutes, but if you want yours to be darker, you could cook it for 30 minutes or 40 minutes. Just make sure you're constantly whisking your roux and make sure you don't burn it. While you're cooking your roux, you'll gradually see it become darker. After 20 minutes, my roux was the color of milk chocolate. Now that your roux is finished cooking, add 1 cup of your diced onions. Then add your celery. And finally add 1 cup of bell peppers. Now you're going to let that cook for about 5 to 10 minutes. You can't make gumbo without the Holy Trinity: onions, celery, and bell peppers. Or at least that's what I heard. When you finish cooking your vegetables, add 1 to 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. Let that cook for 1 minute and then add your sausages. Then add 1 can of diced tomatoes. So about 14 to 16 ounces of diced tomatoes. So when I was doing my research on gumbo, I learned that adding tomatoes is usually done in Creole gumbo, but not usually done in New Orleans style gumbo, so adding tomatoes is totally optional. I decided to add tomatoes because I really like tomatoes. Now add 2 to 3 quarts of your stock. And this is very important, make sure your stock is hot before you add it in your pan. Make sure your pan is also hot. Make sure both the pan and the stock is hot. But not like boiling hot, you know what I mean? Just hot enough. By the way, if you don't want your gumbo to be that thick, you can always add more stock. Now stir everything together. Now add 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika, a half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, 1 teaspoon of pepper, 1 to 2 teaspoons of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder, 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, 2 bay leaves, I added a bit more Worcestershire sauce, and 1 tablespoon of hot sauce. Mix everything together, then cover with a lid and let it simmer for about an hour or an hour and a half. After letting your gumbo simmer, add 1 cup of lump crab and your shrimp. Let that cook for about 5 to 7 minutes or until the shrimp has completely cooked. When your shrimp is finished cooking, reduce your heat. Once your shrimp is cooked, go ahead and taste your gumbo and add any additional seasonings that you think you might need. I added 2 to 3 teaspoons of sugar, 1 to 2 teaspoons of Creole seasoning, some more onion powder, a half a teaspoon of Cajun seasoning, and a little bit of liquid seafood oil. After you've added your desired seasonings, add a half a cup of green onions. Don't forget to remove your bay leaves as well. And that's it, you've finished making your gumbo. If you want, you could also add some crab legs or some crawfish in your gumbo. Now that you've finished making your gumbo, it's time to plate it up. Add some rice in the middle of your plate or bowl, then add your gumbo around it. This is optional, but you could add any additional seafood that you want. I added some crab legs, some lobster claws, and some crawfish. Top it with some green onions and you are all finished. And this is the finished result. It tasted really good and it came out better than I expected. I've wanted to make gumbo ever since I watched Princess and the Frog when I was a kid, so I'm really happy I got the opportunity to make it. Since this was my first time making gumbo, I made a bunch of mistakes. I will show you the mistakes that I made in the outtakes because I want you to avoid the mistakes I made if you can. Also, if you've made gumbo before, I would really appreciate any tips or advice that you might have. But for my first time making gumbo, I don't think I did that badly because Mom had like 5 plates of it and my dad had 2 plates of it. It tasted really good, it smelled delicious, it was very flavorful, so I'm really happy with the outcome. I know that everybody makes their gumbo differently, so this was just my version of gumbo. I hope to improve my skills as time goes on, and I hope I can improve when I make it again. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Everything I used in this video will be down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye! Alright, so now we're going to talk about the mistakes I've made and the things I learned. If the oil you're using for your roux isn't hot, your roux is going to be ruined. Make sure your oil is hot before adding any flour. You have to constantly stir your roux or it will burn. Constantly. I used a whisk, but you can always use a wooden spoon. If you start to see dark specks in your roux, it's most likely burnt, and you have to start all over again. If you accidentally burn your roux and you didn't notice until after you've added your stock and your gumbo has a burnt taste to it, add half a raw potato into your gumbo and let it sit for about 10 to 15 minutes. The potato will absorb the burnt taste. After you remove the potato, your gumbo should be fine. Make sure your mixture and your stock are hot before adding your stock because this will happen. If your pot isn't warm or your stock is too cold or isn't warm enough, it'll cause the stock and the roux to separate once they meet, resulting in this, which is super unappealing and just looks nasty. I hope this helps and you guys learn from my mistakes. Hey everyone, today I'll be teaching you how to make the best chili ever. This chili is so good and packed full of flavor, so let's get started with the video. We're going to begin by preparing our ingredients. Dice a half of a green bell pepper, then dice a half of a red bell pepper. After that, chop 1 onion, then dice a jalapeno. Start by cutting off the stem, then cut it in half, and using a spoon, scoop out the seeds. After that, you can start dicing your jalapeno. In a large pot over medium heat, add 1 tablespoon of olive oil. Then either add ground turkey meat or ground beef. I'm using ground turkey. After that, add your seasonings. I added seasoned salt, Creole, onion powder, garlic powder, and pepper. Cook your meat until it is browned. When your meat is finished cooking, take it out of the pot. Okay, so now we're going to use that same pot. Add more olive oil if needed. Then add your diced bell peppers, onion, and jalapeno. Lightly season everything with salt and pepper. Then sauté for about 3 to 4 minutes over medium heat. Now turn your heat down to low and add 2.5 tablespoons of chili powder, 2 tablespoons of ground cumin, and 1/2 teaspoon of ground pepper. Then add 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, Then, after everything is mixed in, add your meat back into the pot. Okay, so now we're going to add 2 tablespoons of light brown sugar, 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, and 1 to 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. Honestly, I should have added the minced garlic when I was sauteing the vegetables, but I forgot to add it. So just to let you know, add the minced garlic when you're sauteing your vegetables. Alright, then add 1 and 1/2 cup of chicken broth and 1 28-ounce can of diced tomatoes, 1 drained can of dark red kidney beans, and 1 8-ounce can of tomato sauce. Then I added 1 more tablespoon of garlic powder, another 1/2 teaspoon of pepper, one-fourth teaspoon of cayenne pepper, half a teaspoon of salt, and 1 tablespoon of oregano. Now let your chili simmer over low to medium-low heat for 20 to 25 minutes. Your chili should become thick after the 20 to 25 minutes. Let it cool for 5 to 10 minutes. Then it's ready to serve. Once you've added your chili in a bowl, add your favorite toppings. I added sour cream, shredded cheese, and some green onions. And this is the finished product. The chili was so good. My mom said it tasted similar to her grandma's chili and that it's been a long time since she had really good chili, so that made me super happy. The chili was super well seasoned and had a lot of flavor. It didn't take me as long as I thought it would take to cook it. Like, it was fairly simple and pretty quick. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Everything I used in the video will be down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye! Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make the best seafood pot pie ever. So let's get started with the video. We're going to begin by preparing our ingredients. First, dice 1 onion, 1 red bell pepper, 1 green bell pepper, 1 rib of celery. Next, chop up some fresh rosemary. Finally, prepare some thyme. Next, peel and devein a pound of shrimp. When you finish preparing your ingredients, set them to the side. Next, in a large pot over medium heat, add olive oil. Then add the pound of shrimp you prepared before. Next, season the shrimp. I seasoned my shrimp with Old Bay, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and paprika. Then proceed to cook the shrimp for 2 to 3 minutes. Once the shrimp have finished cooking, remove them from the pot. Next, add 1 cup of diced onions, a half a cup of diced bell peppers, and a 1/4 cup of diced celery. Sauté the veggies for 4 to 5 minutes or until the onions become translucent. Then add 1 tablespoon of minced garlic and cook everything together for another minute. Now reduce the heat to medium-low and add 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter in the pot. Once the butter is melted, gradually mix in 5 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. Continue to mix everything together until the flour is completely absorbed. Then gradually mix in 2 cups of chicken broth. Once you've added all of the chicken broth, bring your mixture to a simmer. Then add 1 cup of heavy cream and stir until combined. Next, add 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of pepper, 1 teaspoon of fresh rosemary, 1 teaspoon of fresh thyme, and 1/4 teaspoon of paprika. Then mix everything together until well combined. Now let the gravy cook for 2 to 3 minutes. Then gently mix in the shrimp you cooked before, 8 ounces of lump crab meat, and 12 ounces of crawfish meat. When you're finished, remove your filling from the heat and set it to the side. Now we're going to prepare the topping for the seafood pot pie. First, get 1 box of Red Lobster Cheddar Bay Biscuit mix. Next, in a large bowl, add the mix, and half a cup of shredded cheddar cheese. Then mix everything together until well combined. Next, add 3/4 cup of water, then mix everything together until a shaggy dough forms, and be careful not to overmix the dough. When you're finished, set the dough to the side. Next, place some ramekins on a baking sheet lined with tinfoil. Then pour the seafood filling into the ramekins. Now add some of the Cheddar Bay biscuit dough on top of the ramekins, making sure to cover the top completely. When you're finished, place the pot pies in the oven at 425 degrees for 14 to 16 minutes. While the pot pies are baking in the oven, we're going to prepare the garlic butter. In a bowl, melt a 1/4 cup of unsalted butter in the microwave. Then add the garlic herb seasoning that's included in the Red Lobster box. Next, mix the seasoning and butter together until well combined. When you're finished, set the butter to the side. Once the pot pies are finished baking in the oven, brush the garlic butter on top. And that's it, you're all done. And this is the finished result. This seafood pot pie was so good. It was creamy, filled with seafood, and the cheddar bay biscuit on top makes it even better. I got this recipe from King Cooks. He makes amazing recipes, and I'll have his website and TikTok linked in the description below. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Everything I used in this video will be down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye!